Go fuck yourself, pretty boy.
This is Comic Book Lexicon. I'm Stephen Thomas.
And I'm Joshua of Grand Rapids.
We're looking at Wolverine Volume 1. This was published in 1982. It's written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Frank Miller, inked by Joseph Rubinstein, and it's lettered by Tom Orzechowski.
So you know it's got Claremont writing with way too many words.
So Orzechowski definitely had to fit a lot into each thing. So the significance of this is, to me, my understanding of it in hindsight, because when I first read this, it was so much later than when it came out. I didn't realize how important Chris Claremont was. I got it because Frank Miller.
Right.
But at the time when this came out in 1982, Chris Claremont might have been the top writer at Marvel, and Frank Miller may have been one of the top artists there doing Daredevil.
I think at the time this fell on our radar, we might have independently been interested in it for those different reasons. Like at that point, early teens, whatever, you were way more aware of Frank Miller.
Yeah. And
I still missed when Chris Claremont wrote for X-Men. Because he stopped when I was like 10.
Oh, yeah. So we thought we'd look through this one. So it starts out, if you've seen the movie The Wolverine, not a great movie, but it was an okay movie. This is basically the storyline that inspired that movie.
Yeah.
The whole beginning sequence is basically this bear is shot with a tranquilizer gun by a hunter, right?
A barbed arrow point that's been poisoned.
And it makes the bear go berserk and kills some civilians.
Yeah, just like kids camping and shit like that. First time I looked at this, I was like, wow, that's a shitty bear, Frank. It's not a shitty bear. Tell me that face doesn't look like a samurai mask.
Yeah, big time. And this kind of reminds me of 300 in a way.
Yeah.
This whole scene, sort of. So Wolverine's got to track down this bear and kill it because it's killing people.
Right.
So he kills the bear, and then he goes to the bar. He has to track the hunter who shot the bear and then didn't finish it off, who's irresponsible enough, and a bunch of people died because of it. So he tracks him down and
finds the hunter, and I feel like Claremont just had to make it clear that he let him live.
Yeah. So this brings us to the main storyline. This character, Marco, first appeared, you said, earlier in an X-Men arc.
Yeah, I don't know what issues offhand, but Sunfire leaves the X-Men almost as soon as he joins. But then when Moses Magnum is up to some shit in Japan, he calls for them to help. They come, and in this Japanese escapade, these two meet each other, fall in love.
Ever since then, he's been sending her letters, trying to get a hold of her. And then he finds out that her letters are not being received, they're being intercepted. And so he decides he wants to go to Japan. He's meeting with his friend Asano, and he's heading to Japan. But when he gets there...
and he says, I can't live without her, as he suits up.
Yes.
That wedding's not happening. I can't live without her.
Yeah. And then, you brought up earlier, we talked about it before, off camera, he starts this whole story out with slaughtering this bear, which he has to kill the bear because it's killing people. But then
there's no soliloquy, there's no lamentation. It's just like, this bear's got to die, and I'm mad at the guy that made it happen.
Yeah. And then he runs into these dogs, and he says, I'm glad I got no stomach for gutting animals. So he doesn't have to kill the dogs. He just, because they're aware of his, animal.
Yeah, the eye-to-eye contact. They know he's the Wolverine.
Yeah. It's just a bizarre, not 5 pages earlier.
This whole series ends much stronger than it starts.
Yes. Now he finds Marco, and she's at the steps of this statue, and she's all beat up.
I was going to stop the wedding anyway, but I'm not going to say it out loud, but thank God you got beat up because now I'm vindicated in this whole White Knight action.
Yes. And then, he's consoling her, and then the husband comes in and is like, what's going on? You definitely got a beater copy here, my friend.
Yes, I did.
Proud.
Wolverine threatens him, and then to give some other backstory on Mariko, she's the daughter of a very esteemed royal family. Is that a fair way to say it? I don't know if they're royal or...
Her father says later, like somewhere around here even, I think, that they have some sort of claim to the throne. Like
Okay.
their family's as old as the emperor, and they have some sort of claim to the throne. But like, he's just this like big Yakuza cat.
Yeah, it's just, you get
he's just a mob boss.
Yes. So anyways, her marriage is arranged, and I always love this. This is very, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Frank Miller do a lot of other stuff exactly like this, but it just feels Frank Miller, like very dramatic or whatever.
Yes.
So this is Mariko's father, and they decide to fight with wooden swords.
Yeah.
And this is very Frank Miller. This period of his artwork, whenever he does these action scenes, he does these horizontal panels.
Yeah, really cinematic, anamorphic. You can tell he was watching a lot of movies.
Yes. And Mariko's dad pretty much beats the shit out of him. I remember this panel specifically when I was a kid, thinking that it felt like a video game. Like
Yes, it's very FPS.
First person shooter, yeah.
Why are my eyes in my chest?
Anyways, this is beautiful. If they ever did how to do action scenes in comic books, there's 1,000 different ways, but this is definitely an effective way to do them.
And one of my complaints with this issue is something that really only needs to be said here, but it loses its effect because it's said 50 times earlier. Like they do the whole, we're working under Jim Shooter, so this might be anyone's first introduction to Wolverine. So you have to hear about the metal skeleton, you have to hear about the healing factor, and you hear about it more than once before here. And here they're bringing it up because this guy has indestructible metal claws, metal indestructible skeleton, and a healing factor, and he's still just getting pounded by this guy with a wooden training sword who's only, just taking advantage of his pressure points to crippling.
Yeah. I always loved this. This empty space right here is beautiful. So he gets the shit kicked out of him, and he ends up outside. And then we talked about this scene. This is very Dark Knight. You have they're all the guys are about to jump him, street thugs or whatever.
Yes.
And then all,
And whatever you see, whatever happens next is too bad to show you. This is at least 25% of shit that you see in Dark Knight.
And part of it was probably Frank Miller either not wanting to or realizing he's at page whatever and he's got to wrap this up. He can't do a whole page of beating the shit out of someone.
I wouldn't doubt that a lot of Miller pacing is problem solving, but he also he's Mr. Cinematic and he knows when to do the Hitchcock shower scene and when to do the Hitchcock we're gonna pan away and not show you what happened thing.
Yeah. And then at the end of this, after he beats up all those guys, is this Yuriko?
Yeah, the cool one.
She finds him, and that's where the first issue ends. So that's issue 1 of the Wolverine Volume 1.
Yeah, and it's well-trodden territory. A lot of people probably know about it, but we're going to be doing a whole lot of talking about Wolverine in the future, so we figured we'd start here.
Yeah, we had to start at the beginning. So look for the next 3 videos of this volume, and then after that, I think the next one we'll do is volume 2. But if you want to follow me or Josh, our Instagrams are in the description of this video. Also, the Comic Book Lexicon Instagram is also in the description. So, thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.